All ladies and gents, one reaction, and this is Should Dinosaurs Be Unbanned? Featuring casually explained by the channel TierZoo. Yeah. Should dinosaur be unbanned? How about no? Hell no. Yeah. So there's no need to watch the video apparently. Alright, let's watch it anyway. I recorded quite a few TierZoo videos already. If you haven't seen them, check out the cast. There's a playlist I wrote for it. TierZoo reaction, something like that. Check out the playlist too, like Overly Sarcastic Production, CGP Grey, Internet Historian, Kazgazar in a nutshell. And yeah, let's watch this one.
This episode was sponsored by Skillshare. One of the most controversial balance updates the devs have ever introduced was patch 1.3.1, the update which banned and nerfed the vast majority of dinosaurs, marine reptiles, and pterosaurs. And so it should come as no surprise that one of the requests that the devs get the most is to
De-extinction. If we can save the white rhino, can we bring back T-Rex? Who are these people? Simon Leo Brown. Are these 10-year-old kids or something?
It should come as no surprise that one of the
increasingly realistic prospect of extinct animal zoos. Yeah, okay. Do these people realize that if we bring back dinosaur, they are the first who's gonna get eaten by them? I mean, you know, lions, tigers, leopards are already, you know, dangerous enough in the wildlife. Even in the wildlife where there are no humans, basically humans still go there and dies by them. So if dinosaur returns, what are you, high?
Requests that the devs get the most is to reintroduce dinosaurs back into the game. The devs have never unbanned any classes before, but what would the meta look like if the devs actually obliged and allowed players to spawn as dinosaurs again? Well, to answer that question, we first need to understand why dinosaurs were banned in the first place. And believe it or not, I was actually given the opportunity to ask one of the devs this.
You know, there are, I guess in the basically South Pole and somewhere, Antarctica somewhere, you know, those, there are basically remains of mammoths, I think. They are just frozen there because of the ice age or whatever. They're just frozen there. So, you know, genetic engineering, basically, there's a thing going on. There is a promising thing that we could probably bring back mammoths or something. I guess that is what is causing all this question, like, can we bring back dinosaurs and things like that? Can genetic engineering do all that? Even if we can, should we? I mean, we probably can create a black hole right here on Earth by using a massive particle accelerator, but should we? No.
This very question. So a lot of people have been wondering, why were the dinosaurs banned?
You know, I get this question a lot
He's
because
a devil,
the
apparently.
dinosaur class was one of the most popular in the history of the game, and we definitely got a lot of pushback when you released the first extinction pack. But to be honest, the meta was just getting stale, especially with players opting to play larger and larger land carnivores like the T-Rex. Like one balance update, we tried to buff herbivores by putting 2 additional horns on the Uniceratops, but of course the T-Rex players just spec'd into higher attack. Then one time we even tried to nerf the rage ability of the T-Rex players by increasing the frequency they want to engage in sexual behavior. But then players thought it would be funny to shorten their arms. So eventually we figured it's not worth dealing with all these complications and we should just go for the hard reset.
There are way too many jokes in Family Guy made that, like, dinosaur, T-Rex basically gets prepared, you know, in front of a computer with a lube and everything, then realize, oh wait a minute, my hands are shorter, and then gets angry and kills everybody.
Lower the oxygen levels to limit the size wars of different classes and encourage more nuanced skill trees. And while we are seriously considering a dinosaur remaster due to popular demand, to be honest, even now, if you look at most character models, they're just shrunk down, reskinned dinosaurs we put fur on so you couldn't tell.
Okay.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to comment on
Kangaroos are T-Rexes of today's time, apparently.
this matter. Okay, so what would it look like if dinosaurs were unbanned? First, let's talk about dinosaurs in general. The dinosaur build's main advantage is its massive size. At fully grown, the only things that could take it down were other giant dinosaurs and potentially pack hunting builds.
You know what, since we are bringing them back, why not give them a, roar ability? Why the hell not? Now T-Rexes can roar too. screech and roar.
While size is an advantage on defense, it can be a challenge for overall survivability. Dinosaurs require a massive amount of food, potentially more than the current game could provide. And so if the devs were to unban dinosaurs, they'd likely also need...
In the dinosaur tier list, there's an image where he says that I think some of the sauropods are 60 tons in weight. 60 tons. You want to unban them, really?
to buff the spawn rates of pretty much everything. Your average dinosaur build also tends to be pretty modest when it comes to speed and intelligence, having speed comparable to an elephant and intelligence comparable to crocodiles. This means that most of the current top tiers will outspeed and outsmart them on a regular basis.
Yoink.
But this isn't the case for all dinosaurs, so let's get into the specifics now. Let's start with the herbivores. So I don't think hadrosaurs would be very viable at all, seeing as they have no good defensive abilities to protect themselves with. Their best trait is that they can communicate effectively and keep watch over each other. But the best hunters today rely on stealth, a strategy specifically meant to get around this problem. Hadrosaurs would be great at spotting tall carnivore players from far away, but not stealthy builds that stayed low to the ground and moved through the bush. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's no problem, the herbivores could just outrun them, but large herbivores had much lower mobility than today's top predator builds. They'd be most comparable to an elephant, like I said before, but where elephants lack in mobility, they make up for with intelligence. You can't say the same for dinosaurs. But not all herbivores would be in such a bad position.
Yeah.
Hadrosaurs lack any form of weaponry, but other herbivores are much more well-armed. Triceratops is perhaps the most well-known armed herbivore, and it's easy to see why. At full speed, a Triceratops could one-shot even the tankiest of opponents. But with that said, the carnivore player base has gotten much better at dealing with front-facing weapons like horns and tusks. So Triceratops may find itself struggling to fend off attacks that come...
I mean, yeah, there are certain dinosaurs who are just brute and not really intelligent. And why things like, I guess, jaguar and lions could fuck them up because they have really precision in their attack. So yeah.
From behind or come from multiple angles. Getting behind an opponent has become a staple trick of every carnivore's playbook, especially for canine and feline builds. Sauropods were at an interesting place in the meta back during the Mesozoic, and would definitely still be if they were brought back today. Their late game stats were simply impossible to beat one-on-one. No other land build has ever achieved even close to the same base stat total. Even the top predators of the time barely stood a chance, even in teams. But they only reach this potential in the late game and have relatively few defensive options during early and mid game, aside from just relying on high-level teammates. This means that their teammates need to be able to stop an attack before it's too late. Because of their extreme height, predators would just about never be able to sneak up on a sauropod clan in an open field. But approaching using stealth isn't the only way to catch a vigilant opponent off guard. Hiding in trees is another option, one that's employed by some of the most powerful builds of present day. Big cats tend to target the neck of their opponents, and, well, it would be pretty hard to miss. Even the top tier jaguar probably couldn't one-shot a high-level sauropod, but all of the arboreal big cats would definitely be a problem for juveniles.
Come on, man. Sauropods are, like the image said, like they are really tall and heavy. I mean, even the herds of jaguars would have trouble attacking them. I think sauropods are a bit too much,
Potentially so problematic that not enough of them would be able to reach the late game to defend the lower level players. It's hard to say. Overall, they could be completely viable or completely helpless. Not much in between.
I don't think they would. They are so tanky, so big, 60 tons in weight. No amount of predators, even if they group up, can take them down. I don't think that's possible. Sauropods would be stronger. Come on, I know there are lots of vast dinosaur, and if you just put them, I guess, in front of things like that, I mean, their mobility and intelligence could be an issue, but I'm pretty sure there are lots of like T-Rexes and things. They are just so powerful that if they just go to certain areas in jungle and just basically stay there and breed there, they would basically empty out that place. If there are predators there, they would just leave. I mean, tactically they could take them down, but they are just tankier builds, these dinosaurs. I mean, if they just go, if they are there, other predators have to move out now.
In my opinion, the herbivore builds best suited to survive in the current meta would be the ones with tail weapons, specifically stegosaurs and ankylosaurs. As previously mentioned, the top predator builds tend to attack from behind, avoiding a face-to-face confrontation, and staying out of range of being hit by counterattacks with horns, tusks, and bites. This strategy works great against the tanky herbivore classes of present day, but an attack from behind would be an awful idea against a build with a club or thagomizer. In addition, the armor on their back would make it much harder for assassin builds like big cats to land their critical strikes. Of all of the herbivores, I find these to be the most likely to become top tier if they were unbanned. Now onto the carnivores. So this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think large Tyrannosaurs would fare well in the current meta. Tyrannosaurs are min-maxed to optimize for damage, which was great when their goal was to be able to bring down tanks with HP levels as high as the dinosaurs. The only build of present day that this would be important to have against would be the elephant. And while that is important, having only one good matchup is not a top tier strategy. All elephant players would need to do to counter this specific tactic is spec into slightly higher mobility, since the T-Rex's top speed is extremely low compared to builds of present day. Smaller Tyrannosaurs like Albertosaurus and Daspletosaurus would still be viable though, since they haven't sacrificed as much mobility.
I think we are finding more and more things about Dinosaur. I think the mobility thing is one thing that I'm not so sure about. I mean, yeah, they were big, but I highly doubt they were that slow. I mean, one day we might find out that they were not that slow. And, obviously, TierZoo would know more than me, obviously. But, I have this feeling that I guess we're missing something here. I mean, it's not just simply like that, like they're less intelligent. They just have one type of attack. They are freaking dinosaurs. They're big, they're heavy. I mean, sure, there are lots of dinosaurs that top predators of today could take it down. But as overall, they would definitely dominate. Come on.
Mobility as the T-Rex has. Mobility really is the name of the game for predators right now. And it's the reason that I'd put dromaeosaurs like Velociraptor and Deinonychus as the best contenders for being too OP for the current meta. And not just because of their excellent mobility, but also because they really wouldn't need to adjust much from their playstyle in the Cretaceous. Raptor builds in the Cretaceous preyed mostly on small animals like prehistoric mammals, and occasionally banded together to take down midweight and heavyweight builds. This niche is still very much available today, and raptors would have little trouble in combat versus builds like possums, raccoons, and birds. This is the same role that the fox and coyote occupy right now.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, could raptors compete with them? In one-on-one combat, I do think raptors have the edge. While raptors do have lower HP than any canine, they also have much more burst damage potential. Canines use the persistence hunting strategy and need to land several attacks in order to bring down a target. Raptors, on the other hand, deal much higher damage because of their sickle claw that can potentially one-shot an enemy. Both employ team strats, and both have high mobility and intelligence. So all else being equal, the ability for raptors to outdamage the canines would, in my opinion, win them the day. So overall, if individual dinosaur builds were unbanned, the Stegosaurs, Ankylosaurs, and Dromaeosaurs would most likely be top tier, while the others might end up struggling. Dinosaur players would need to learn a lot of new abilities to be able to contend with how advanced the meta is, especially when it comes to how OP humans are. Luckily, if you're looking to quickly and easily learn new skills, Skillshare has you covered. Skillshare is an online learning.
Yeah, people go to skillshare.com/TierZoo5 and support this channel. This was a surprising video. I didn't thought the dinosaur would get their ass whipped like that, but I still think I guess we're missing something here. Dinosaurs are, I think bigger, heavier, they're stronger. I get it. If their mobility and intelligence is not there, there are lots of predator build like jaguars, lions that could take them down, sure. But not all of them. I mean, sauropods is one thing, like 60-ton sauropod, who's basically one shot can basically take you down. The stomp ability. I mean, they also walk in herds. I mean, this is just too much already. You can't take them down. Come on. So, yeah, I've seen lots of lions basically trying to attack an elephant, where elephant is just walking away, and 4 or 5 lions basically trying to take it down and can't. I mean, and they're going to go against sauropods. No, I don't see that. Yeah, T-Rex might be stupid, might be slow, even though I think one day we might find out that the dinosaurs are not that slow that we thought. Even though they're heavy, I'm pretty sure just the way they are built, they must have some kind of speed. So yeah, but T-Rex with that bite ability, and I think we might one day find out that dinosaurs are more able than we think today, because about dinosaur we are finding things slowly every day. The information evolving. People were saying in the comments doing that dinosaur tier list, like there are lots of information that's old because the video's old. Even from then to now, there's new information. So I don't know. I feel like dinosaurs were OP enough that if they were here, they would dominate. Obviously, not against humans. We would basically kill them out, but we would be the one who would bring them out. If a dinosaur is gonna come back, it's through genetic engineering. So if we bring them back, and if we kill them, that makes us way stupider than we already are. So if we bring them back, we would create some kind of Jurassic Park type scenario. I don't know. Alright, people, that was Should Dinosaurs Be Unbanned, featuring TierZoo Explain. TierZoo Explain is apparently a dev. Who would have thought? If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast playlist. Check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.